I've done it. I've cracked the code. I know what monster is coming to Iceborne. You all should be very afraid. For it is Kongalala!
Okay, I'll admit it, we're not getting Kongalala, at least not that we know. I know! Alright, fellow hunters, welcome. Let's talk the future of Iceborne. I know, it's only just arrived and there is plenty to do and my life is consumed in hunting. But we have had the first part of the DLC roadmap released, and oh, it looks like a road well worth traveling. But the real question then, of course, is what actually is going to be injected into the game, and there's lots of possibilities when it comes to that question. Of course there is plenty of theories and plenty of likelihoods. We know, of course, we're getting Rajang next month, which is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to klitz-claw him, only for him to reach round, pluck me off him, and crush me in his hands. And a few little updates for your room too. That's all well and good, and a part of me thinks they might sneak in Furious Rajang at the same time. He's not really that different, just permanently mad and a couple extra moves. It'd be a nice way to immediately give him the variant and keep him at the same level as Savage Joe, which he should be, but either way, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Then following that in November, we get the first part of the Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds quest, and I still really need to play that game. I really do, but that should at the very least be fun. But then December is where it gets very exciting. The rest of the Frozen Wilds and the first Iceborne seasonal event, in of course the likely form of the Winter Festival, but we get a new monster, the second edition. Now, there is an event going on at the same time, as I just said, so maybe something Kulve-esque that actually ties into it, maybe an entirely new experience. Everyone seems to always assume that monsters being added are going to be returning, but they have added Kulve before. They will add new monsters if they think they fit, if they think they work, so that is always going to be a possibility. In fact, we know we are getting Master Rank Kulve Taroth at some point, presumably, so perhaps that will be launched with that event. And please don't let her weapons be good this time around. Please free us from the golden prison! And then moving into 2020 and the second anniversary, we're going to get even more. They've said that the post-launch content will at least match the base game, which means the addition of at least 5 monsters, which is a fairly decent, hefty amount. The only real question then, and again the point of this video, is which monsters could it possibly, perhaps, perchance, maybe be? Well, there's one in particular that I think needs to be discussed, and that, of course, is Fatalis. And you may ask, why Fatalis? Well, in truth, it could be Fatalis, Diamoralis, or Elatrion, and the reason for that is we need a black dragon, and we don't just need a black dragon, it's downright weird that we don't have one. Every single gen has had its black dragon lurking at the very depths of G rank. So for, well, the 5th to not do that, for Iceborne to not do that, surely not. What more fitting way to cap off this legendary new era of Monster Hunter than to have the final DLC monster in the final and, well, only expansion. As they've said, Iceborne is it. It will be World 2 or 6th gen or however they do it after that. Be the Black Dragon above all, the god of all monsters, he who slew a kingdom, Fatalis himself. There is literally no singular better choice. He is just it. And imagining him with the same reimagining, the same care, the same detail poured into him as they have Lunastra, as they have every returning monster, well, that is something to be feared and something to take your breath away. A Fatalis that is brought to life in a way that only World can, as the apocalyptic level threat he is. Not his old incarnation of kind of just janky, slidey movements and yeah, occasionally cool fire, but let's be honest, one of the tamest fights in Monster Hunter, at least for an endgame monster, and especially for something of his lore pedigree. Imagining him given gameplay to fit his status, which he undoubtedly would be, well, there is no singular greater experience you could imagine in World. And therefore, to crown the series with him, surely that is meant to be. They've added new maps before, as we saw with the Caverns of El Dorado, so giving him his own arena is certainly fair play. Hell, even expanding the Guiding Lands would do it too. A very, very slight, hopeful part of me thinks we might one day get the Elder's Recess and the Hoarfrost Reach represented in a little bit of an expansion to the Guiding Lands DLC. Maybe this time around they take more of an expansive adding to the game path by not just, well, sticking a new monster in, but really updating and changing the story as we go along. And hey, you could use Elatrion, who was on the leak list, but perhaps by this point he's being cut. The leak list is the only evidence that really points to him, but he is the all-element unstable dragon. So what better king of the Guiding Lands, which is a mash of everything, than he of everything? Maybe his passive, chaotic weather manipulation is what brings the Elder's Recess and Hoarfrost Reach to the fore in the Guiding Lands. That could be a little bit of a far-fetched bit of fun, but no, all evidence does point to Fatalis. And hey, if they did go to the actual adding meaningful story map changes, things going on, then they could totally do a little episode of Gormagala, have a little frenzy sequence, and that would be a fun way to bring him in and actually explore what he does and play through his impact in the new world in a meaningful way, because I can't see them ever just shoving him in and hand-waving the frenzy virus. It just does not seem like their style. But back to the main point. Fatalis, then. Why Fatalis outside of just how fitting? Well, again, they have made such a big deal of him. The 15th anniversary saw him come back, the only non-flagship to appear, rendered in a beautiful new model that shows his glory in such detail. The fact that they have released new Fatalis merchandise a lot recently. The fact that they are giving him a spotlight, revealing never-before-known things about Fatalis at Monster Hunter X Naked, where they're having a 15th anniversary exhibition. That is exciting in of itself. And again, this could just be 15th anniversary, and again, Fatalis is that important that he is a good marquee monster to pin this milestone on. But I have to believe that it's just a little bit slightly more than that. Honestly, even in-game, the hunter symbols that you get, bronze, silver, and gold, I mean, they look like Fatalis heads to me, and I realize that is the most. You are joining some things there, but it does, right? It totally does. And it's probably just arbitrarily what they chose, but then again, the Monster Hunter team does not arbitrarily do much. They are absolute sticklers for detail. It's one of the reasons the games are such meticulously polished, detailed, and, well, simply near masterpieces. So, at the end of the day, there is a lot of buzz being stirred about Fatalis, a lot to do with him being brought back seemingly randomly. They have a G-Rank expansion with no Black Dragon that we know is getting DLC, that we know will need to last and cap off the whole new era of Monster Hunter until the next full-on generation comes out. There is no better choice, and as much as I would love Elatrion, because I think he is a lot more interesting than Fatalis, but I also can't deny a Fatalis event where he has been retooled to actually match World's, well, incredibleness. That has to be something that we just seriously need to see. So that's the DLC roadmap with a few little thoughts tacked on. And, well, what do you guys think? I'm kind of curious at the Frozen Wilds crossover, because they're making a big deal out of it. There's 3 quests, and quests 2 and 3 do come when there is a new monster planned, so potentially it might be a crossover monster? But at the same time, I feel like that would be kind of anticlimactic. And I feel like they're not just going to shove in the remaining flagships outside of, as I said, a Gormagala storyline. Would Seregios be exciting? Yeah, I love old Pinecone, don't get me wrong, but carrying a title update by himself? Perhaps not. And who says there's only going to be 1 new monster per injection? There's no reason that has to be the case. Though I will also admit I'd totally take a DLC that literally just gives weapons their actual quality models, and yes, I'm still salty about that, shut up. But there you go, that's what we have to work with today, and, well, let me know how you guys are feeling about all this. Firstly, it's just exciting that we are getting so much support post-launch, but I will bet my bottom dollar I will be blown away if we do not see a black dragon, whether it's perhaps a new one. Hell, they could even just whacking adult Zeno. It has been confirmed he is the baby, and they have said that when he grows, his skin loses the translucence and turns, well, black. We also never really collected his body, and he is mysteriously missing from Master Rank. So that could be quite the interesting little way of doing things, right? Bring back the return of Zeno, give him his adult form, give him mastery, give him, well, the full range of his power, one of the original 5. The tale of the 5 dragons in Monster Hunter lore. 1 dragon sank into the sea and became the land. 1 dragon lifted its gaze to the sky and became the mountains. 1 dragon stooped low and became the lakes, and scattered its scales to create the rain. 1 dragon fell into a deep slumber and became the forests. The last dragon climbed far into the sky to become the star of sapphire blue, shining brightly above the island. A lot of people have theorized that that is indeed Zeno, or at least his ancestor or progenitor, so seeing that come to a bit more of a head would be neat as well. But if we do not see a black dragon by the end of Iceborne's cycle, well, I will eat my greatsword. Like you've enjoyed this, guys, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. A goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video flow.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you, even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on, and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.